I'd like to welcome everybody to the Town Council meeting, Monday, November 20th, 2023, 7 p.m., McKinnon Council Chamber. Agenda item number 1, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to agenda item number 2, roll call. Madam Secretary.
Councilor Adams?
Present.
Councilor Chenier?
Present.
Councilor Daniel?
Present.
Councilor Dow?
Present.
Councilor Lazo?
Present.
Councilor Marchetti?
Present.
Councilor Montigny? Present. Councilor Ortiz?
Present.
Councilor Rivas?
Present.
9 present. Moving on to agenda item number 3, consider and accept the Town Council meeting minutes, Monday, November 6th, 2023.
So moved.
A motion by Councilor Adams,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Montague.
Daniel?
Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes of that meeting? If none, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote, President. Moving on to agenda item number 4, subcommittee reports, Department of Public Works.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Moving on to Education and Services, Councilor Rivas.
Yes, we recently had a meeting, and there are several items on the agenda that we will be recommending.
Moving on to General Government, Councilor Montague.
Thank you. I don't think my mic is working. But we had a meeting, I believe it was last week. There's a few items on the agenda, and I do not believe we're going to have a meeting before the next one, but we'll keep you informed if we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to D, Planning and Development, Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, we had a meeting last Tuesday, the 14th of November. Tonight's agenda has items 10, 11, and 12, and 16 through 22 that we'll be discussing. Discussion mainly during the meeting was on the important work of the Economic Development Office in its staffing, and also in providing recreation facilities to an underserved area in town. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Moving on to Protections of Persons and Property, Councilor Chenier.
No report, no meeting scheduled, Mr. Chairman.
Moving on to Chairman's announcements. I have no announcements tonight. Moving on to agenda item number 6, Town Manager's announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, just to update on the Henry Street project. The framing was completed. We did have a call and a review of the placement of windows down there, and they were not placed in the agreed upon locations. We did work with the construction company and the project manager that's handling that for the insurance company, and it was corrected, and the press box is slated for completion on December 30th. Now it had moved from the 15th to the 30th, so that's their anticipated completion date. In regards to the animal control shelter, I've had continued conversations with the council chairman. We have identified several individuals to serve on the committee and plan on December 4th to bring that committee forward and then to review the plans for the change in locations and next steps. So by December 4th, hope to have that for you. Community Center, just had an opportunity to attend, and I know a couple councils did as well. The Thanksgiving dinner that they held with Bay Path students had catered the meal. It was sold out. Their Christmas event is scheduled, and that was also sold out, so it's great to see all the participants down there. They've been doing a great job. I just want to thank the director, Katie. As many know, there's been 3 major fires in the community over the last 4 days, and in 2 of those events, multiple parties were displaced from those residents, and the fire department and police departments did a great job on those fires, and they also reached out to Katie to open the community center so that they could have a warm place until Red Cross got here, because Red Cross is response times have been delayed much more than they normally should. So, and those events were early in the morning to the tune of midnight to 3 a.m. So thank you to Katie and for doing that for the displaced residents. And we wish all those residents the best moving forward. In regards to the curbside enterprise accounts, I did receive memo 1. I am working with Anna Smith to identify the indirect and direct costs I will have additional details for the December 4th meeting, and it's anticipated that we will be setting the rate for the curbside collection on January 5th and outline the next steps for the cards and identifying who's going to opt in and opt out. The question last meeting was to Dr. Villar about whether we had any conversations about meeting with the commissioner. I did follow up with him. He has not had any conversations with the commissioner, but we'll reach out to him. But he did indicate, and I know several councilors have had conversations with, they've identified a consultant to work with the school committee, former MTA, Mass Teachers Association president, that will work with the school committee to start developing plans on what their role is and how to assimilate into a working school committee. On Monday, December 4th, prior to our council meeting at 6:30, we will have a public hearing. The public hearing will be held by the town council on December 4th at 6:30 p.m. in the council chambers. The public hearing is for the tax classification pursuant to Chapter 40, Section 56 on the adoption of a residential factor for tax purposes and the adoption of percentages of local tax levy to be borne by each class of real and personal property. Any person wishing to speak will be given the opportunity to be heard at that time. And that has been published in the paper for 2 weeks. And finally, several events that we've attended, I know councils did have the opportunity to go to the RMG celebration, where I had the opportunity, I know several councilors did as well, to meet Congressman McGovern. And I had a conversation with the congressman, even though he does not represent our district, conversation about our grants that we have going and opportunities for funding. And he assured me that he would work with Congressman Neal. And I did bring up the RAISE grant that we had been close to, and he said certainly that he would work with Congressman Neal to support and give any letters to that. And just a reminder, Holiday Visions event is Saturday, November 25th at 5 p.m. with a parade down Main Street to the Common. And also, I know in social media there's been a lot of posts about this time of year when we're getting to the holidays about children and families in need of toys for their kids. Just a reminder that the Southbridge Police Department Cops and Kids and the Southbridge Lions Club have the Steve Ide Memorial Toy Drive. That toy drive is ongoing with drop-off locations at Southbridge PD, Sturbridge PD, Harrington Hospital, here at the Town Hall, Southbridge Fire Department, and all Southbridge Credit Union locations. There is an application process. Any family that thinks they're in need of toys for their children, please fill out the form, and it goes to the Southbridge Police Department. And let me just, the date for applications is on the form to have it by Friday, December 15th. So that is out on social media, so anybody that's in need, feel free to apply for that. And just a reminder, the town hall will be closing at 4 p.m. on Wednesday for Thanksgiving, and we will reopen on Monday morning. And I wish everyone a great Thanksgiving, and hopefully our pioneers will prevail over Barbara. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Moving on to agenda item number 7, presentations. There are no presentations tonight. Moving on to 8, Citizens Forum. Are there any citizens that would like to approach the council to speak on any items not on the agenda? If there's nobody coming forward, we'll move on to 9, vote to approve the town manager's appointment of Gary Fontaine as the alternate member of the Liquor Board, effective immediately pending successful completion of state ethics.
So
Second it.
Motion by Councilor Shinya, seconded by Councilor Adams. Any discussion?
This was on what subcommittee?
General government, it was favorable.
General government was favorable. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to number 10, vote to approve the town manager's appointment of Pamela Paquin to the Economic Development Commission for a 3-year term pending successful completion of state ethics.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Adams, seconded by Shinya. Councilor Daniels?
this item was unanimously approved by the subcommittee.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 11, vote to approve the town manager's plan to reorganize the Economic Development Office and reinstate the position of Director of Economic Development and Planning.
So moved.
Motion by Adams, seconded by Shinya. Discussion. Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, this item, after some discussion, was voted unanimously by committee to be recommended to council.
Discussion. If done, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 12, vote to approve the town manager's appointment of Margaret Peg Dean as Director of Economic Development and Planning, effective immediately.
So moved.
Second it.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Adams. Councilor Daniels?
This item also was approved unanimously with very little discussion. People are very happy to see this appointment being made.
Councilor Adams?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just dealing with Ms. Dean, and I said it at the subcommittee. I highly recommend it. It's about time. It's way overdue, and I appreciate all the hard work her and her office done, and that's because of her. Thank you.
Councilor Dow?
Thank you, Chair, through you. I just got a question. Is that the same position came forward in the past and we returned it for some, because it wasn't available at the time, was limited?
No, a matter of fact, it was left vacant.
Yeah,
From-
but I think it was removed, it wasn't available anymore for some reason. And then when it came forward, was some word change on that position saying about hiring and firing and stuff like that. And is that still there, or it's?
Excuse me, Town Manager Jovan?
Thank you. As I stated in the subcommittee meeting, when the former Economic Development Director, Rosemary Scrivens, had left that position, at the time, the former town manager had provided to the town council a proposal to split the duties between PEG and the town planner. And those duties were split, and then the position was, PEG's position was then termed as coordinator and CDBG, coordinator and planning. The town planner now is no longer here, so the duties that he had assumed from the economic development have now reverted back to PEG, so she is operating, doing all the duties that a director of economic planning and development would take place. She manages the director of planning and development according to the job description, and this was the job description that was approved in council in 2017. It's the same job description that we will be using. They do provide supervision to 2 full-time and 1 part-time employee.
Yeah, that's my,
So she'll supervise that department. Any terminations would come from the town manager, not directly from
just to
that.
make sure, because the previous HR, she provided some kind of description job in her way, it wasn't acceptable by the councilors at that time, it wasn't correct what she read on it, and this is why we returned it back, I guess, but I guess you're doing a great job, we appreciate you, and just to make sure clear, what kind of job we're going to vote on here. Thank you.
So it is, Mr. Chairman, if I may, it is the position that was adopted by the town council in 2017 with no changes to that from what was updated from the previous HR director.
Thank you.
Any further discussion by council? Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Just wanted to say that PEG has done a great job. I'm fully supporting this, and I'm excited for the future. I'm hoping that maybe I've always had a dream that cable access could help the economic development department and make some really cool videos together, as she puts her best foot forward and always seems to get us moving in the right direction. So I'll be fully supporting this tonight. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Town Manager?
Just an update, and I said this in the meeting, I know working in the last 3 months with PEG and formerly as a councilwoman, but specifically now in my role, her involvement with the Southbridge business partners and the different business partners in town She has been very active in bringing some businesses to town, or helping, assisting businesses in town, or trying to resolve issues that have been brought to our office. And I do have some, and I was telling the chairman this earlier, some excitement because I've had several conversations with several young individuals in this town that I've known for a long time as youth, that went to school with my son, and they have groups of investors that want to invest in businesses and in our community, and brought that to PEG as well. So I see some real changes that on the horizon, that people want to reinvest in Southbridge and move this community forward. And with her at the helm, I know we can get it done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Peg, would you like to approach the podium, please?
I just want to say thank you. It's been almost 5 years. I've been completely honored to serve this town over those 5 years, and I'm incredibly excited for this new capacity. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peg.
Congratulations.
Moving on to the next agenda item. Number 13, vote to approve the town manager's plan to reorganize the treasurer/collector office and create the position of assistant treasurer/collector, MS-12.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Senior, seconded by Councilor Dow. Discussion?
This was
Counselor?
recommended favorably at subcommittee.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 14, vote to approve the town manager's recommendation to create the position of Executive Officer of Town Operations, A5, part-time, 24 hours.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya.
This was also recommended at subcommittee.
General Gov is favorable. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 15, vote to approve a change in the Schedule 1 and add the positions A, Assistant Treasurer/Collector, MS-12, B, Executive Officer, Town Operations, A5. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Council Shinya,
Second.
seconded by Dow. Council Montague?
Thank you. Yeah, general government, this was recommended favorably. It was the third item here. Those other two were to create the positions. This is to change the schedule. I'm not sure if the manager has anything to add, but it sounds right. Thank you.
Joe Walter. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 16, vote to accept the Mass Works grant for $2,000.
That's $2 million.
I'm sorry, $2 million. Shortfall there? $2 million for the infrastructure improvements of River/Crane Street, and allow the town manager to sign any related paperwork.
So moved, Mr.
Second.
Chairman.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Discussion. Councilor Daniels.
This item was unanimously approved to be recommended to move forward by the subcommittee.
Any discussion? Town manager?
Thank you. This is a great job to get this grant of $2 million for this project. There's been a lot of emails going on today for this project about some additional grant opportunities, and working with PEG and the DPW, and I'll be going forward to extend that project for the bridge further on to Mill Street or Pleasant Street. So we're very excited that we have this $2 million, because it really, at the beginning of my term here, we were talking about a project in concepts, and now it's getting closer to reality through a lot of hard work. So very excited that we have this grant, and we'll be able to tackle that section of road.
Councilor Adams?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to confirm, this work starts next year in June, right?
Yeah, yes, it's being designed and hopefully go out to bid.
Awesome, thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 17, vote to approve applying for the Rebuilding America Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity RAISE grant to modernize Hamilton Street and to hire BNC Group to assist in the application at a cost of $4,800 using account number 001132578100, council reserve, and allow the town manager to sign any related paperwork.
So moved.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya. Councilor Daniels.
The P&D Subcommittee unanimously recommended this move forward to council.
Any discussion? Mr. Town Manager?
Yeah, through you. Thank you for considering this opportunity. As we've talked about a lot, as the grant moved up to that final stage, the recommendation from the federal individual was to gather a little bit more data, tighten up the application a little bit more, and resubmit. And this is the exact grant that I spoke to Congressman McGovern about. And when we had the debrief with the federal government individual, he stated anybody on those political ends that we can get to support this would be valuable. So once we get this application in, if we could, on your end, maybe get some support from the federal legislature, that'd be great. Because it is an important grant. It's close to $10 million. So hopefully we can bring this one to the finish line this time.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote present. Moving on to 18, vote to request an extension from the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities of Community Development Block Grant, FY 2001 through December 31st, 2024, in order to complete grant activities and expend funding.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Adams. Council?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This also was voted unanimously by the P&D Subcommittee to move forward to council.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote present. Moving on to 19, vote to amend CDBG FY21 to move activity 4D, code enforcement, and program income funds to activity 6C, Parks and Recreation, which will fund installation and new equipment on the Main Street Rotary Club Park.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya. Council?
Unanimously approved.
Subcommittee is unanimous. Any discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 20. Vote to request extensions from the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities of CDBG FY20 through June 30th, 2024, in order to complete grant activities and expend funding and allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Motion by Shinya,
Second.
seconded by Dow. Councilor?
The subcommittee voted by 5-0 to move this forward to council.
Discussion? If none, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 21. Vote to amend the CDBG FY20 to move activities 4D, code enforcement funds, to activity 6C, Parks and Recreation, will fund installation of new equipment on Main Street Rotary Club Park and allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Is the motion by Chinya, seconded by Dow. Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subcommittee voted 5-0 to move this forward to council.
Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 22. Vote to accept the quote by M.E. O'Brien for $53,342.50 for the removal of damaged playground equipment and installation of the new equipment at the Main Street Rotary Club Park, and allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Motion by Dow,
Second.
seconded by Shinya. Council Daniels?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subcommittee voted unanimously to move this forward to town council.
Any further discussion? Town Manager?
There was an inquiry at the meeting as to insurance on that piece of property and why it was not insured. I did have a meeting with Meyer last week, reviewed this issue. It was not listed on the schedule for the insurance. So we have the list, and they gave us guidance as to what and how things should be insured. So we'll make sure once this is completed, because it is a park by itself. So there was certain guidelines. If a park was within 1,000 feet of one of our buildings, it's covered under that building. So, i.e., there was a question about Elm Street Park across the street and that all the upgrades to that, and was that insured? Because it's attached to the fire station and also 1,000 yards from us, it comes under our umbrella of that insurance. But because this park, and I think we have to look at Plimpton Park, they're separate, distinct parks, we have to make sure that they're added to the schedule. So we'll make sure that happens.
Councilor Daniels?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. On behalf of the citizen members of the subcommittee and the council members of the subcommittee, I'd like to thank Peg and Katie for a yeoman's job. They bring forward not only motions and requests, but they really do the homework. They have the backup material available, and they make our work much easier. So thank you to both of you.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 23, vote to approve the transfer request of $13,881 from account 001132578100 council reserve to account 0940000574000 insurance property liability to cover a fine from the Internal Revenue Service for employee shared responsibility payments.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Senior. Counselor?
General government, this was recommended favorably. There was a lot to it, but I believe the town manager could probably elaborate in a short summary.
Counselor Dow?
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I'd like to ask the town manager to explain to the residents what that payment for, where the lack in the past are past manager and HR's mistaken. I'd like town manager to explain it, please. Thank you.
Town Manager Jovan?
I'll try to explain because Nora did a much better job than I did, and unfortunately she's not here this evening, so I may have to defer to her for follow-up. But we are required, according to what she had explained to us, and it really is not an oversight on there's a lot of different levels to this. It's what kind of coverages that we offer individuals for health insurance, and whether we offer a affordable plan. And under the Affordable Care Act, there's certain percentages, and we did not meet the percentages as a community for that level of plan. So we are going to work with Cooking Company to see about having an affordable plan, probably at a high deductible, but that would be more affordable for our employees. And in some communities, they say that it's cheaper to pay the fine than it is to offer this insurance because of the cost. And we will also be reaching out to Congressman Neal's office and the Senator's office to see if perhaps we can get the IRS to waive it or reimburse us on this. That's the short answer right now, and I could gladly have Nora explain it in more detail because this would be with what she handles, but that's the explanation.
Just for the
And the
reference.
fine was reduced from $63,000 to $13,000.
Thank you. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilor Montague?
Thank you. Yes, that was the other point I was going to make, is that Nora and the town manager did reach out and make sure that the IRS audited their own fine here and brought it down to a proper level. But it was also informed to us that at subcommittee that this was something that the previous town manager said it was all taken care of and not to worry about. And in fact, that was just incorrect information. So thank you to our town manager and to Nora for correcting their mistakes from the past. Thank you very much.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 24, vote to approve the transfer request for $441 from account 001132578000 578100, council reserve, to account 001145538100, surety bonds to pay balance of bond that was issued and canceled for the former treasurer collector.
So moved.
Motion by Chinya, seconded by Dow.
This was also recommended favorably at General Government Subcommittee.
Subcommittee was favorable. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 25, vote to accept the updated winter parking ban routes for 2023-24.
So moved.
Motion by Chinya, seconded by Dow. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilor Chinya?
I didn't get the updated parking ban routes in my packet. And the question I have about the parking ban in the updated winter parking routes, West Street, it was kind of brought to my attention over the weekend and today about on West Street, they have from going to the school from Main Street, one-sided parking, I believe now, on the right-hand side of the road, and no parking during the winter parking ban on the whole street. I don't know if that's true exactly. And there's also a no parking ban from 7:30 in the morning to, I believe, 3:30 on the entire length of West Street on the right-hand side. And people are concerned about winter parking, where they're going to park, and the fact that since there's no parking on the left-hand side and with no parking on the right-hand side, what do?
Town Manager?
Well, had I known about this earlier, I would have reached out to the chief and had an explanation for you this evening, but I was not aware of it.
No,
So I'll have to follow up with the chief and find out specifically about West Street. The only change on this was simply the year 2023 to 2024. I will reach out to the chief. This parking ban, I should have stated, does take effect December 1st. That is our winter parking ban. So I would recommend that you adopt this, and if it has to be amended, we'll amend it afterwards. And I will follow
fair
up
enough.
with the chief because had I known, I would have gotten that information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Any further discussion? Councilor.
Thank you. The way I understand it, by looking at it, it appears that the West Street is the both sides of no parking is only during a snow emergency. But again, I'm sure a better explanation in the future could make sense of it, but I think the both sides is just during emergencies. But anyway, thank you.
Councilor Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. To the town manager, could you just explain to the residents how the winter parking ban works, please? Thank you.
Oh, boy. So, hopefully I get this correctly, because I've lived it my whole life. But today is December 1st. Well, say on December 1st at 7 p.m., you have to be parked on the odd side of the street. And that goes till 7 p.m. the next day. And then if that day is the 2nd, then you're on the evening side. So whatever day it is on the 1st, so on that 1st at 7 p.m., that's the side you have to be parked on. So you just take the day at 7 p.m. If it's odd, 1st, 7 p.m., you better be on the odd side. And the evening side on the evening days.
At 7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. And I do know the police usually, unless there's a major snowstorm, the first couple of weeks usually give out warnings or advisories that, yeah, you're on the wrong side of the street. So
Thank you.
that's how that goes. And I do believe, to answer Council Montigny's question, I believe we do have several streets, I believe, that there's no parking on if there is a snow emergency.
Yep.
So they may have changed West Street because of the construction to that, but I will follow up on that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Councilor Forum. Councilor Rivas.
So I wanted to begin by thanking our fire department and our first responders for all of the work and dedication that they did to respond to all of the fires over the last week. and how they've helped these families. During the holidays, it's even more tragic when people lose all their belongings, lose a lot when they have these unexpected incidents. And so I appreciate all of their dedication and help and response to all of these families and, the continued work that they do to help our community. Just thinking about families in need, I know that we talked a little bit earlier about the fires. There are a lot of organizations in our community, Catholic Charities, St. Luke's, that help people. Especially it's important for us to make sure that we're giving our residents information. Wellstorm Inc. for people that have food insecurity and need food during this time. It's also an important time for us to donate to these organizations if we have a little bit extra, so that we can help other people in our community who are in need, regardless of whatever is going on. And certainly, as we've seen on social media in the last few days, a lot of people asking for help. So it is important to share information about all of these organizations that can help our fellow residents. That being said, I want to give a shout out to Jose Machado and Charlie Diaz and all of the RMG staff for doing their Thanksgiving Hope for All program and getting dinners to families in need. I don't know, I forget the number of dinners they delivered today. And they're also going to be giving families dinners on Thursday as well. So thank you to them. I know that it takes a lot of effort, and RMG is a great community partner. We just went to their 5th anniversary on Friday. I know several counselors were there and our town manager and so many different officials from our state and from our congressional delegation to honor their 5th year anniversary. They're a really important part of our community. They've really stepped up to help families, to serve people after the Family Resource Center abandoned our community. They really stepped up with Harrington to help people in our community. So we want to thank them and continue to support all of those entities in our community that really help our families get a leg up. I also wanted to say a little bit about great to see Peg Dean being elevated to director. Very much well-deserved. She's been an asset to our community since she stepped in the door, and we wouldn't have gotten half of the things that we've accomplished in these last few years if it wasn't for her dedication and really just, not taking no for an answer, right? And when we get rejected, going back out there and finding money for us to do all of the things that we need to do for our community. So thank you, Peg, and congratulations. I also want to mention a couple of things. Honest Town Eats opened up this weekend. I wasn't able to go this weekend, but I'm excited to get there. I've heard great reviews from people that got to attend their grand opening. And just talking about the economic stimulation that has been happening in the downtown and all of our new businesses. I was able to go to Relax Spa by Gia, which is on Main Street. And so thinking about okay, I'm going to go get a facial and then head over to Honest Town Eats for dinner. So really thinking about the holidays and making sure that we promote and shop local. We can give people gift certificates, gift cards to all of these businesses and promote and continue to support the businesses in our community. That is really important. And finally, the Southbridge Municipal Airport will have Santa fly in on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. This is a free event for people to come and take pictures of Santa, and there will be refreshments there. So go ahead to the airport, get some pics with Santa, and then you can head over to Holiday Visions later on that evening. And that's it for me.
Councilor Dow.
Thank you, nothing at that time.
Councilor Senior.
Councilor Rivas took the wind out of my sail. Everything that she said I was going to say tonight, so again, thank you for mentioning it, and I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving and enjoy the holidays with your family and friends. Thank you.
Councilor Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did have one question for the town manager. If you could take a look at, last year about this time, we had somebody from a company called Good Energy come here to talk about community electricity aggregation. And the guy's name was John O'Rourke. And I will send you an email, his email address if you don't have it. I'm sure you do. John O'Rourke. And he said it would take about a year for the community to get involved in this electricity aggregation program. It's a program that helps the residents with their electricity bills. And I thought it was a good plan. And I just would like, maybe if you have the time to get an update from him. Like I said, he thought it would take about a year, and it's coming up on a year, so I would appreciate it. I can send you the email, his email address.
There's a file there. I had assumed that the interim town manager, because it was part of his file, it was a whole file that said it was completed. So if it hadn't been completed, I'll follow up on it. So I do have the
Yeah,
file.
he said it was going to take about a year because it has to go to Boston, and they have to, there's a committee there that has to look at the whole thing, and then before it comes back to us.
If I may, just
Sure.
add a point. This gentleman was brought in under McCall. This gentleman does Charlton.
Right.
And it's a discount to the residents where all electric bills, if we bulk buy from this company. And it was handed off because I was the one that brought it in from Charlton because it's one of the residents out there. My sister said that works very well for them. So we handed off and it just didn't get done.
No. I believe that was done, but there's a file there from interim town manager Blanchard that I believe they were waiting on something from a party, so I'll follow up on it, though.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Other than that, I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Councilor Montague.
Thank you very much. I was unfortunately unable to attend the RMG 5-year anniversary, but I did want to congratulate Mr. Suarez. It's awesome to see him still operating here in town, helping people. And I was not able to attend, unfortunately, the Honest Town Eats soft opening, grand opening this week, but I heard people enjoyed themselves, and it's always good to see the new business is in town. We had a lot of Veterans Day events, and I have to say the Friday luncheon, although it was wonderful ribbon cutting ceremony on Saturday, of course, but the Friday luncheon was extremely well attended. It was one of the classiest events I'd ever been to. The food was great, and the MC, Councilor Adams, you know, I really felt like I could see a light at the end of the tunnel for Southbridge coming over the next few years, and it made me feel good to have heard a couple days prior that he had announced that he would be running for a state rep in the 6th Worcester District. So I think that Southbridge is moving forward in a great direction. We've had a lot of great things happen in the last couple weeks, a lot of great reorganization and adding positions, and I just think the rest of this fiscal year and beyond can only go up if we just continue. It's great to be a part of the winning teams all around. I think the only losing team I'm supporting at this point is the New England Patriots, but thank you, everybody. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and go Pioneers Thursday morning. Thanks.
Councilor Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Just real quick. Tonight we passed something, $2 million MassWorks grant. This is on top of about $8 or $9 more million that's going to happen next year with all the work that's happening. And the roads are being fixed and addressed, sidewalks are being addressed. I know we'll have a pavement management plan coming up very soon. And I can't wait to be able to bring that to the town manager, or with the town manager, DPW director, and the chair to the council for approval very soon. I believe it's going to be in the month of December. We'll start working on that. But we've got to make sure that we know what we're going to be utilizing it for and who's going to pay for it. So looking forward to all those smaller streets to be worked on as well. Besides the $8-9 million, four tip projects. You got a couple bridges, you got and a few roads down right on the Rotary area, sorry, not the Rotary, but on Foster and Central and Hook and Hamilton and all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to all that work being accomplished, including the rail trail this coming summer. So it's going to be a very busy summer for the town of Southbridge when it comes to infrastructure work. I went to Honest Town Eats the other night. It was awesome. It was a good food. It was very different than your normal place that we have here in town. And it was great to see the amount of people were there. I got it. I was at the soft opening, so the place is going to be packed, but I expect it to be packed as well. It's going to be an area, a destination area for Southbridge coming to our town to see it. I can't wait till they're on Open Table app, and that way we can schedule in advance. But very good job, and proud of all the work, especially the delays that they had to go through. And I'm glad to see them finally open, and knock on wood, they're successful. But it looks like they're in the right path. Councilor Montignan mentioned the luncheon. We had over 150 veterans and their family members attend, including other representatives from other towns or other areas. So it was great to see the great turnout. That was the first one where there was a combined. There's multiple individuals and multiple organizations that help support that. I want to take one hat off, put it on another one. Councilor Dowf helped supporting Green Meadows, Harrington Hospital, and the Veterans Council of Southbridge helped supporting that. The next day was the ribbon cutting ceremony over here at the World War Memorial Park, and it finally actually has a sign so we know what type of park that is and whose park it belongs to. And so some more work to be done, but I was glad to see it was packed. It was a great job. Thank you to the town manager saying a few words that day. We also had General Patton's grandson, Bob Patton, come in out and say a few words as well. And then we went on to a Veterans Day ceremony as tradition holds, and it's a great job. I got to tell you, we had a couple of young ladies who sang the national anthem and God Bless America, and it was great to see. So very, very proud of them as well. And lastly, thanks to the town manager for all the hard work you've been doing. Getting a lot of these things accomplished and moved along as we move. I think the position of economic director is way past due, and I'm glad to see it finally come through and passed unanimously by the council. And then lastly, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy your holidays. Bye.
Councilor Ortiz.
I have nothing, thank you.
Councilor Daniels.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, through you. I'd like to thank Councilor Adams for the work he's done on the War Memorial Park. I've got a great uncle who's got a plaque on one of the boulders that are there, and I used to take my life into my hands by going down to Twinehurst Place and trying to cross the street to get to where the boulder is to pay my respects to my great uncle. And by moving the boulder to the park, it's now got a place of honor again where you can go and visit. There are picnic tables there. You can stop, you can relax. The whole park is now open to the back, and families can go there. They can play Frisbee, pass a ball, if they still do that, and just enjoy the time and pay your respects. So my deepest, sincerest thank you to Councilor Adams and to his crew for putting that together and making it a nice place to be. I was at the Renaissance Medical Group celebration on Friday night. It was a wonderful evening, great meal. As I'm echoing other people that were there this evening, that have said something about it this evening. I'm pleased to have them in the community. They serve the underserved in our community, and that's important. Not everyone does that. Not everyone takes the time to do it, but they do it. That's their mission. And I'm very, very pleased that they're here. I'm pleased that they're able to celebrate, and I hope to be there in another 5 years for their 10-year anniversary as well. So from having a wonderful meal on Friday night, on Saturday night, my wife and I went to Honest Town Eats and had a wonderful meal. The place was hopping, and not to disparage any other place in town because I'm not doing that, but it's nice to see a new business come into town, to be doing very well. There was a young crowd, a lot younger than me and my wife, and it's nice to see something that the youngsters, quote unquote, can enjoy and be into. It's a nice place to go on a date. So I wish them continued success and a long and prosperous business life here in town. And continuing with the meal terms, Sunday night we were at Bay Path and went to the Chowder Fest, a fundraiser for Bay Path. Elm Cafe was represented in the Chowder Fest. I'm not sure if they won this year or not. I haven't been able to find out who the winner was, but it was a nice time, and Elm Cafe's chowder was top-notch. They got my first vote. Last but not least, if you go into town and you say the word peg to someone, you get a big smile, and they say, oh, I know who you're talking about. Peg has become the new star, and I know I've said it before, I've said it many times, and other people have said it as well, but I don't think it can be said enough. She's a star here. She's done real well for the town. If people watching don't know on YouTube or on TV tonight don't know who she is, get to know the word Peg. She just does it for you. You're talking a $2 million grant, you're talking millions of dollars worth of grants, not only for the roads, but for other aspects of life in town, nice things like the park that we're going to be fixing up on Main Street. We have vision here on the council. We have ideas on the council. There are things that we'd like to see done at the council. And talking in whispers, Peg will overhear you, and all of a sudden, a month later, 6 weeks later, there's a memo coming forward, and there's a grant that seems to be attached to it. And all of a sudden, what we had hoped for, what we were whispering about, what we were trying to see happen in terms of what we'd like to see happen for the town of Southbridge, she is making happen. And that's why you see that the council is very happy to support her, why the subcommittee that I'm the chair of, Planning and Development, is very happy to support her. Top notch. I can't say anything more than that. So Peg, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your promotion is well-deserved, and I'm glad that it finally came about. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
Moving on to agenda item number 27, discussion of next meeting day. Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next meeting is Monday, December 4th, 2023, 7 p.m. in the council chambers.
Agenda number 28, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Senior, seconded by Daniels. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Meeting's adjourned.